Good morning.
We meet again.
Yes. Um, it feels like the weather's going backwards here. I know you're back where it's warm and you're definitely hot, but I had to bust out the new sweatshirt this morning because I was freezing cold.
Um, is that bad or good?
I think I don't hate it. I will be regretting ever being cold, in just a few weeks' time, I'm sure, but it just feels more fall today than summer. But that's
Uh-huh.
okay. That's okay.
Yep. One of my tasks today is to go through and see if I have appropriate clothes to wear to Alaska.
That might be important considering you don't live somewhere where appropriate clothing for Alaska is a norm.
No, but the leggings that I brought with me that I've
Mhm.
never worn since moving here, they're going to come in handy.
They're gonna come in clutch.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little inventory. Um, but we gather here for one more time this week. So today we are going to be talking about our least favorite dining options at Disney World.
Yeah.
And normally we would talk about some news, but
Yeah, Disney kind of dropped a whole bunch of stuff all at once. So I think they have been a little bit more gentle with us, if you will, here in the past couple days. So there hasn't been a ton of stuff. And to be fair, we've both been really busy. So maybe we've missed some big breaking things, but I don't think so.
yes, I think they front loaded the week.
Same, which was great for us coming off of a trip. That's exactly what you want to roll back to work with.
That's right. So, yeah, so we meet again. So, we don't really have news to share because there isn't any news that has happened since the last time we met. And we are going to talk about our least favorite food at Disney World. And then, if there are comments or questions that are submitted while we're live, then we will get to those at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go park by park and then also include Disney Springs and resorts for food options. Just to give some context, I don't mind most places. Like, I don't care. But the way that I approached this list was, where would I not want to take a first timer? Like, if I want my best chance of success to make them like Disney World,
Yeah.
where am I not going to take a first timer? Because I don't think it has a high chance of being successful.
Um, I like that take, and I kind of approached it with things that I just in general think are not great, and then also things that are like the must-dos that I feel are letdowns, that are
Okay.
that are things that everybody says you have to do on your trip to Disney World, but I kind of feel like, if you're coming at it from, I say the culinary side, but the side where you're expecting everything to be worth the price tag, it might be a bit of a letdown.
Okay. So, shall we start at the beginning? A very good place to
Place to
start,
start,
which is always at Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom, yeah.
Yes. How many do you have, by the way?
Well, I mean, I told you when we were planning this topic that I think I could come up with 67 for each location, just because maybe I'm a bit of a hater. But let's just say my list is fluid, and I don't want to seem like a bigger hater than you. So I will limit my number to the number that you have. How's that? Is that fair?
Okay. Well, in that case, you're going to have to cull it from 67 down to 2 to 3.
Okay, perfect. I can do that.
Okay. And maybe we even agree. So, what's your first one at Magic Kingdom?
Be our guest.
Okay. That is also on my list. But
Yeah.
it's not, it's actually not because I think the food's bad.
Um, I I don't think the food is bad at Be Our Guest. What I do think is not great is that the the overall experience is not worth the price tag that's attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I talking about this, I know we've discussed it before, but we both really liked it when you had a quick service option for lunch. It felt like an upscale quick service. Um, and now it feels like a high priced table service, 2 credit, not worth the money, you dine in a big cafeteria kind of experience.
Yeah, I don't think if I took a first timer here and afterwards said, "Do you think it was worth it?" that they would say yes,
Mhm.
given the price tag and all of that. Because it's like they're just doing it because they know it's the only way you can see inside the beast castle. So they're like, "Hey, yeah, we'll charge you a set amount."
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that the main room is where the most people are going to get sat. Like the West Wing, I think that is the room that where most people, or at least a lot of people, do want to end up. Um, but it's small, and there's not as many opportunities to be there. So most people end up sitting in this cavernous room that feels like a cafeteria, and it also feels like in the before times you got maybe a little bit more bang for your buck when
Mhm.
you could just order off the menu. You did have the opportunity to actually meet the beast, and those are not things that you get anymore for the high price tag.
And I'm just going to go back to the very beginning of this restaurant, which is I wanted it to not only be a character meal, but I wanted it to include the whole cast so that they could do a performance of Be Our Guest, the song. It's like, welcome to the dining room. Like, why? Come on. That's my favorite. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
agreed. Maybe they could bring in some of the show from Hollywood Studios
Hmm.
and make it turn it into a dinner show. I feel like maybe Disney should listen to some of our ideas because I think that's a great one.
I do. But having said that, neither of us believe that it is worth the price.
No. Okay, you go next. What's your next one?
My other one is Tony's Town Square, and I
Mhm.
actually don't even hate it. I just think that it is kind of blah.
Mhm.
And so I would probably steer away from it unless it was for parade viewing.
Yeah.
But I've had decent food there. It's just that there are better options.
Agreed. Agreed. Sometimes I feel like it's difficult to do anything wildly different with Italian food if you don't branch out of the normal, spaghetti, lasagna,
Hmm.
Olive Garden-esque menu that, a chain Italian restaurant would have. And that's kind of what you get with Tony's Town Square. It's consistent. You know what you're going to get if you're looking for something that's going to, make your picky eaters happy. It's a solid bet if they like Italian food, but it's nothing special.
No, but having said that, if we want a parade viewing and an easy
Mhm.
time, I would totally book their request to sit outside and order like lasagna or something.
Yes, yeah, totally fine with that. Mine, which I think is one that you kind of like, and I'm gonna say it's got a lot of things going for it. Number one on the list being that it has pump ketchup, which is far superior to ketchup in
Pack
packets.
packets.
Is Cosmic Rays.
We do go there a lot though.
Yes, because it's easy. It's got there's always something that I will eat. It's got
Hmm.
a good kid menu on it, which I like, the chicken strips from the kids menu because I feel like it's a good value for what I want to eat. But I just think it's loud. For some reason, it always feels messy and chaotic to me. Um, so I don't enjoy that part. One thing I do appreciate about it though, aside from the pump ketchup, which if you aren't picking your restaurants based upon whether or not they have pump ketchup, what exactly are you even doing? Is that there is a large section outside for seating that's got the overhang on it. And I have found that I really appreciate that. If I want to sit outside and eat, having a fixed overhang like that versus just tables with umbrellas, I like that.
I used to be the biggest Cosmic Rays hater,
Hmm.
mostly because I don't like sort of standard theme park food. If there's other options, I
Hmm.
can't. But truth be told, I kind of like it all. But I have learned to like Cosmic Rays because it's inside,
Hmm.
so you get out of the heat and the air condition and out of the rain. There's bathrooms there. You can exchange your
Hmm.
fuel rod. There is a sunny eclipse in the one room, the animatronic. So if you want to entertain somebody with that, at least that's an option. And I think we really like their party specialty food.
Yes, even when we have been let down by the party specialty food, they always have a good selection there. So
Hmm.
some places will have just one item, but Cosmic Rays always seems to have like an entree or two, a
Hmm.
dessert or two. So if you want to just try something new, just to try it, and maybe it's fun and you can take a cute picture with it, definitely that is a really great option. So I think for me, it just feels loud and chaotic.
It is, which you know is my least favorite thing in the world.
Hmm. Yes, yeah.
But still end up there sometimes. Are you ready to hop over to Epcot?
I'm always ready to hop over to Epcot.
I bet I know what your first one is.
I do you?
I think it's Nine Dragons.
Well, that is definitely on the list,
Hmm.
but that wasn't my first one because I wouldn't consider that one a must do. But Nine Dragons feels like not a good value for all the same reasons that we were talking about for Tony's, where it's perfectly fine if you have somebody who is a picky eater, but you know that they like Americanized Chinese food.
Hmm.
That I think it's a great place. It's easy to get into. It that you get what you get there.
Okay, what is first?
Um, Space 220, but Space 220 in the general seating, not the lounge seating.
Because of the Be Our Guest thing?
Yeah, it's the same BR. It's well, it's the I think it's the elevator ride is really cool. The whole aesthetic I think is really fun. Um, but I don't know that the price tag for the main dining is worth all of that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a pricey one, which is why we like the lounge so
Mhm.
much because then you can order a lot less. Having said that, we did have good food there. It's
Yeah.
just that it is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's another one. I feel like there's so many restaurants at Disney World where people will be like, "Oh my gosh, you have to do that. You have to do that. You have to do that." And when you're planning your trips, especially if it's a first trip, you feel like if you don't do that, your trip is going to be less than or ruined or it's not going to be as good and you're there, you might as well do all the things kind of deal. And I feel like this one it's very fun, cool thing. You're not going to find a restaurant like that probably in your local hometown, but maybe there's a better option where you could get not only a cool aesthetic, but also decent food that maybe isn't quite the high price tag.
My first one is Coral Reef. And
Mm,
I want to say, first of all, I've always thought it was strange to be ordering fish while looking at fish.
yeah.
Like, are we getting a bucket of fried chicken on a chicken farm? Are we ordering hamburgers amongst the cows? Like,
Yes.
that's a very strange. But the restaurant used to be so much better, and not only the quality of the food, but they
Mhm.
also would personalize the menus back in the day, so that when you showed up, it had your name on it, maybe even some photos. They had divers that would be in the aquarium, and sometimes it was characters, and sometimes the divers had messages that they were holding. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of fun to it. And now the magical stuff is gone.
It is gone and you're left with just a bunch of seafood. Isn't didn't they just drop down to one service per day too? I feel like we're not the only ones that think that Coral Reef needs to maybe have a little refresh.
Yeah, it does for sure.
On the positive for Coral Reef though, just like with Space 220, if you need something to distract, or even Sunny Eclipse, if you need something to distract somebody in your party, if you if your primary focus is to sit and have a meal and you want the people you're with or the little ones that you're with, let's be honest, to have something to look at, having a giant fish tank is a fantastic distraction. So you
Yes.
may get your money's worth that way.
Hmm. Do you have another for Epcot?
Um, I do, and my other one there is Le Cellier,
Mm.
and I liked it a lot more a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating the same thing. The prices have gotten kind of out of the way. It is a great respite from the Florida sun, but you're also literally in a cellar, hence the name. So as you're in the windowless room, kind of under the ground with, very expensive steak. And I think there's better steak on property
Mm-hmm.
than there. So if what you're looking for is like a really good steak, then go someplace else. If you're looking for cheddar cheese soup and pretzel bread and you're outside of the Food and Wine Festival when you can get it at the festival booth, then go there. But otherwise, if you're doing a steak,
I don't like the cheddar cheese soup at the food booths, though.
it is a little
It's gross.
puddingish,
Ugh.
little gelatinous.
No, some things are best served in a restaurant. I'm going to add Tutto Italia. We've been
Mm-hmm.
there a few times. It's just meh. It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't think the service is great, and the food is just kind of fine. But if you want a last minute reservation to, have a place to sit down, it's usually easy
Mhm.
to get in there. I wanted to mention I was looking at some recent reviews before we had this discussion, and Garden Grill is not getting great reviews this year.
Really?
Yes, and which is always a
Why?
risk. It's always a risk with restaurants is that they can change. A lot of people are claiming that the food has become cafeteria level, specifically the turkey and steak.
Hmm.
So if anybody in the comments has recent, like 2026 experience at Garden Grill, let us know because that has been a long time favorite of ours for the
Yeah.
characters, the food, and the novelty of twirling.
Yeah. Slowly. Slowly
Very,
twirling.
very slowly. Okay. So anything else at Epcot before we go to Hollywood Studios?
No, I feel like I've hated enough there.
Okay. What's first on your Hollywood Studios list?
Well, I don't like Woody's Lunchbox. Is it Woody's Lunchbox?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like
Why?
I don't mind the food. I think the food is kind of fun and, homemade Pop-Tarts and potato barrels with cheddar cheese sauce. Okay, sign me up. But I don't like that the seating is so chaotic there and that there's never enough of it. There's never enough shade there, even though they've added additional shade structures. And I don't like that you have to order mobile order so far in advance compared to other restaurants there because it's so popular. You have to start early with it, which kind of takes away some of that quick service spontaneity things where you can, actually eat when you're hungry instead of trying to plan ahead by a couple hours. So, yeah, I think I know it's super popular, and if you don't mind not having a place to sit, then go for it, but otherwise, yeah, I don't think it's worth the hassle of walking around with your tray being a table vulture looking for a place to sit.
First on my list is sci-fi.
Mhm.
It's too inconsistent. And the food quality is just the service can be very slow. Sometimes it's hard to get a reservation, and then the food quality is very mixed. So you might have people that like it, you might have people that hate it, and I don't want to take those chances if I'm in charge of planning a trip for somebody. So that's mine.
Yeah, and my only other one from there isn't necessarily a, restaurant as much as it is the lounge, but it's Oga's. And I have an issue, and I could have said the same thing about the, Beacon Barrel at Magic Kingdom. I love the theming of those. I love the theming of Oga's more than I do of Beacon Barrel, but I still love the idea of the Beacon Barrel. What I don't like is that it is all pre-mixed drinks, and I know they have to do that to get people in and out and be able to, um, serve more people, but I just don't like the super sugary pre-mixed drink options.
I don't like the chance that I might have to stand up.
And that too. That's a great point. And at Oga's especially, it's been I don't know, probably at least a year since I've been there. I don't like that you might be standing at the bar and you're a party of two and you have to stand in a line. You're one person at the bar and the other person directly behind them. Like
Yes.
I think that is such poor guest experience.
Hmm.
It's terrible.
Hmm.
And I feel like they should have known that that was going to be a super popular place and they could have planned a little bit bigger indoor space for it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be nice because, ugh. But it can be really fun if you have a place to sit.
Yeah, yeah. If you do, but then like with both of them, time limits
Hmm.
are
You feel like
are
you're in a rush.
you are in a rush to chug your pre-mixed sugary drink.
The last thing on my Hollywood Studios list is I call it an outdoor food court area that is
Yes.
on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
So it's like Fairfax Fair, Rosie's All American Cafe. I'm not sure if there's another one that's there, but those they look like little houses, and they're all
Um,
together, and they often have very mediocre food, and the seating is outdoors and a little chaotic. Like it gets very busy,
yeah.
and so sometimes it can be really hard to find a spot. Rosie's tests a lot of menu items, so it could be fun to go there to have new things,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't count on it for like good lunch when I'd rather go to any number of places
Yeah.
instead.
And I would also throw out in there too that not only is it difficult to find a place to sit, it's also difficult to find your party if you get separated in there because
Hmm.
it's hard to say like I'm at the counter and if you don't know like which restaurant you're at, if you're not super familiar with it, it's just logistically there's so many reasons why there are better places around there to eat than there. Um, I will say that whichever the one is that's closest to where Tower of Terror is, during Christmas time they do tend to have a spiked hot chocolate down there. So
No, we do like that.
we do enjoy that.
I mean, we like specialty things a lot during
Mhm.
events, and that's one of them. So we will be Yeah, if we end up eating any of these places, don't hold it against us.
Oh yeah, yes, and we very likely will, and we probably should. We should go
Hmm.
back and revisit some of these ones that we really don't like. And see if our opinions change. But like you said, it's so difficult when number one, there's so many restaurants at Disney World, but number two, sometimes it really feels like day to day or week to week or month to month, things change, and all of a sudden, something that was a solid option is no longer that.
In researching recent reviews, another one that some people have been speaking badly about is Hollywood and Vine because people talk about it being loud and
Hmm.
standard hotel buffet food
Hmm.
at a character meal price. I used to be a hater of Hollywood and Vine. I'm not so much a hater. I think the food's a lot better than it used to be
Yeah, why do you think Disney does so many buffets for character meals?
to get people. It's easier in mass, I think.
I don't, probably. It feels like it's very wasteful. Buffets
Hmm.
to me have always felt like they're super wasteful. Maybe people feel like they're getting their more of a bang for their buck because they can eat as much as they
Hmm.
want versus just a standard plated meal. But I would much rather see something family style, I think, for multiple reasons, than I would just the buffets.
Hmm. Animal Kingdom, a place that has good food in general.
Oh, I thought
However,
I thought you were like you were
mhm,
prefacing what you
I'm
were going to
I'm
say.
I'm just talking about Animal Kingdom.
Um,
It has good food in general.
yes, it does. But one place I would not recommend going because Animal Kingdom has good food in general is Rainforest Cafe.
Yes, same. I wouldn't either because there's so much other good food in the park.
Yes.
And also, I don't know how many rainforest cafes are still around, like
Hmm.
nationally, but if anything is available near where I live, I'm not doing it at Disney World.
Yeah, agreed. Skip the chains and do things that you can do in other locations, even other vacation destinations. If you don't have one close to you, but if you travel someplace where there is a rainforest cafe, do it there. Don't do it at Disney World. so many other better options. But that is definitely one that I would never send a first timer to. It's also never been hyped up at Disney World either, so it's not worth any sort of hype there. Just skip it there.
Skip it. I would say Pizza Fari.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have a big group and you want to appeal to everybody, Pizza Fari might be a good choice. But there are other options that are so much better.
Agreed. That one was on my list too, was Pizza Fari. Um, I do I don't think they still have it anymore, but I did like where they would do the family meals. I thought that was a nice option for families where you could get
Hmm.
like a full size pizza and whatnot at a little bit better price. But barring that, and like I said, I don't even know that it's still around. Skip the Pizza Fari.
Yep. I don't have anything else Animal Kingdom.
Me neither, but I would say skip Pizza Fari and go to Nomad.
It's right next
It's
door,
right, yeah,
practically.
right there. Okay, what about
Yes.
Disney Springs?
Okay. I'm skipping SDK Steakhouse. And that's because it is loud.
Hmm.
And at least when we were there, it was very hot. And they told us they didn't have the air conditioners to support the space. And so that made me think that it was a permanent issue.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is, but it was when we were there. And it's so loud. And the music, when we were there at least, was the music of our childhood. So I was like, okay, clearly we're the target demo and it isn't hitting for us.
yeah.
Why is it so loud in here and so hot?
Agreed. That one is on my list as well. But it's another one that maybe we should revisit at some point.
Well, in my research of the recent reviews, that came up.
Oh, of it being hot still?
It came up that people feel like it is a nightclub that happens to serve steak. So
Such a
that
weird
is
combo.
it's so weird, and I'm like, I don't know who this place is for.
I wonder if we went a different time of the day, like after it was dark, because we were there when the sun was still up. Maybe if we went, a better time of the day, we would feel the vibe more.
No, I don't want all that. Well, I'm trying to eat. Shh,
Be
quiet.
quiet.
No, I'm not doing that.
Um, n- Another one that is on my list there, in addition to, I'm just going to throw out, T-Rex and Rainforest Cafe. I think those are ones too that you should maybe consider skipping at Disney Springs. Is Paradiso 37.
Yes, that is the worst dining experience we've had in Disney Springs, and we didn't even have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It was a media dine, and when you do media dines, it is not only free, but a lot of times the restaurant wants to really impress you, so they will like make sure you're seated promptly, that you get the best table, like. And that did not happen there. And it was
Mhm.
terrible. So at the time that we did this media dine, I just didn't talk about it
Yeah.
because I was just like, I'm only going to talk about stuff that goes well because this did not.
Yeah, it did not go well at all. I think they have like a really good tequila selection. So if you're going for something for tequila, maybe go to La Cava and Epcot and just pick out some tequila there and skip Paradiso 37.
Ugh, I'm shocked it's still open.
Me too. Me too. Was this one that you saw any recent reviews for? Because I'm curious if people are still
Yes.
hating on it.
It consistently ranks low for service and generic Latin inspired food that is more expensive than other nearby options like
Mhm.
Frontera Casina, which we have gone to.
Yes.
So, yes, we're not alone.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
Anything else for Disney Springs?
No, I feel like Disney Springs has lots of really good options. Like I like Jock Lindsay's for just unique food and a unique environment. And by unique food, I mean they tend to do very heavily themed things for Halloween now and for Christmas, so that can be fun. Um, ho- uh, Homecoming is great. Raglan Road. Like I think there's lots of really fun places to eat there. So you have so many good options. Try to avoid some of these ones we're tossing out unless you just really want to see for yourself.
Do you want to talk about resorts? I have two.
Yeah. I I too have two.
You do now. Here, I'll throw out my first one, and then if it matches, you can pick a different one. Okay, my first one is Chef Mickey's.
That's on my list too. Okay, thank goodness.
Okay, so Chef Mickey's used to be my go-to. It's how I like kicking off every single trip because you don't have to have a park ticket. It's fun to go in the contemporary. The monorail goes through there. It's classic characters. It's fun. Just really sets the trip off on a good foot. But it's just not good food.
No, it's not. It's chaotic. And the bad thing is that it's the only character meal that's available for dinner outside of the parks. So if you are arriving, midday or whatever, and you want to do something very Disney for dinner and like a character meal, this is your only option. So that is kind of an unfortunate thing. Um, if you are only doing one character meal, I would not make it this one. Yeah, I would not make it this one. Um, I would pick a different one.
What else is on your list?
Um, Whispering Canyon Cafe.
The thumbnail. No, no, no. I was going to say, I chose a different image for this thumbnail. Go ahead.
Whispering Canyon Cafe. I liked it more. I think this is something that in general has happened at a lot of Disney restaurants. I don't know if this is a result of the Disney dining plan being around for as many years as it's been around, which is it's a long time now, or what. But I feel like the menus have been dumbed down and just they're so much smaller than what they used to be. And the fact that what used to be an option, which was the all you can eat skillets, is now like the only option, um, is quite unfortunate. And I have found it to be mediocre. It is not fantastic. It's another restaurant where you're probably going for the environment, but then you, on something like that, where the environment is based upon the cast members and how busy it is, your experience could vary quite widely from day to day or even from hour to hour throughout the day.
Not to bully the Wilderness Lodge,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm choosing Storybook Dining at Artist Point on my list
Mm.
because it is very inconsistent. And we have been there multiple times in the last several years, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's too expensive to risk it.
Yes, and it is such a a peaceful character meal as opposed to one that is a buffet, that it's really unfortunate that it is not more consistent and better.
Mhm. I want to throw out one more.
Okay.
The food court at Coronado Springs. We don't like it.
I will say Jenny was just there and she intentionally went to the food court and she said she thought was doing a little bit better.
I will be there in a month.
Okay.
And I'm going to try it because we love Coronado Springs, including the dining, except for this. It has been so limited after 2020 and with limited hours, limited offerings. And so if they are improving, I want to go and see it.
Yes, it would be fantastic if they would, but Coronado Springs in general has so many places to eat, that it's felt like they have let the food court kind of become a little, I'm gonna say dilapidated isn't the right word, but they definitely, the quality had gone down and they were catering more to the convention crowds. So it felt like a lot of grab and go things that
Yes.
were easy to grab and go and take for your convention stuff versus food items that would be good for a family.
And I think like all the values and moderates need to have a food court that is almost always accessible so that
Mhm.
you can pop in, you can get a snack, a meal, a drink anytime. I think that's one of the perks of it is
Yeah.
that it just is easy. But they haven't for several years had good options on that.
Mhm.
So I hope it is better.
Me too. What do you think about the food quality overall at Disney? Taking out these ones that we've been hating on, but overall, compared to a typical amusement park, how do you feel about it?
I mean, compared to a typical amusement park, it's good. But also, like, I don't mind the food generally on Disney Cruise Line.
Oh,
So, I don't know. I'm just not super picky.
yeah. And I don't in general like cruise food. It's at least main dining room food. I feel like stuff that is mass produced, and I wouldn't consider myself picky either, but I just feel like mass produced stuff, sometimes the meat can be a little chewy, or like the
Mhm.
cuts definitely are not the best. Some items are better than others, but I f- I guess I feel like if Disney's going to have these menus that are so small with few options, then everything should be amazing, especially with the price tag that's attached to it. And I just don't feel like necessarily that's what we always get.
Mhm. Okay. Anything else?
No, but man, that's a lot of hating early on in the morning.
That's all right. If it deters people from a bad experience, I'm okay with it. We do have some comments, a lot of them from Ranger Kyle, who agrees with us on most stuff, but not everything. Okay. So Casey's Corner mini corn dogs better than Be Our Guest, and it ain't even close. I will say you notice we didn't say anything bad about Casey's Corner.
Uh-uh.
We are fans, especially of mobile ordering. And also 100% on your size 220 take. Christine, who is an upcoming podcast guest who I just finished talking to yesterday, agree about Coral Reef service was slow and the restaurant was half full. Here's a disagree one. I still think Le Cellier
Mm.
is one of the best steaks you can get on property. Shooketh, what steaks do you like better? Please do not say Steakhouse 71.
The best steak I've ever had on property was at Flying Fish.
Yeah.
I still think about that steak.
We also heard that the steak that is served at the Swan or Dolphin is one of the
Mhm.
best ones, and we'll be there in a month, and we can test it out and verify. But yeah, good steaks are a popular topic. Kara says, agree on both Oga's and Beacon Barrel. They were both one and done.
I hear that from a lot of people a lot. And in fact, when I was just there with Brent, I thought about trying to get a reservation for Beacon Barrel with him. But I didn't feel like it was worth it. Like it's just not worth it.
Number one STK hater reporting for duty. Y'all have heard me rant about this before. Sorry. I'm just glad we're not alone because honestly, it was so bad that I was like,
Hmm.
are other people thinking this? And the fallout of Chef Mickey should be studied. It is fixable
Yeah.
though.
Yes. I feel like all of this stuff is fixable.
Hmm.
And maybe it's just the whole maximizing of every penny that they're getting from guests. And as long as the restaurants remain full and guests are willing to pay for it, I don't know that we're going to see any changes though. Like it's still difficult to get reservations for most of these places except for maybe Coral Reef. Um, so I
But
don't
I,
know that Disney will change it.
but I think Disney needs to focus on the return rate of guests though, because it's places like Chef Mickey's that got us addicted
Yeah,
in the first place, and here we are 20,
absolutely.
20 years later, still doing it. But you're not going to get new people addicted if they have bad experiences.
Mhm.
Christine, we used to do Chef Mickey's too. I really enjoyed 1900 Park Fair as a kickoff to our trip. You will hear all about that in an upcoming episode. She had a group of 16 that really enjoyed 1900 Park Fair. Whispering Canyon hasn't quite recovered post COVID to how great it was. I still enjoy it, but it's not the GOAT anymore.
No, it's not. And in fact, I would say if you're willing to, like, if that's like the kind of food you want, it's not exactly the same, but you don't mind the transportation nightmare that it is. I think you get better food over at Hoop-Dee-Doo. Like,
Hmm. I ate at Mercado at Coronado Springs twice in September, and the food was very mid. Yeah. Ingrid, we had a really good meal at Le Cellier in March. It was greatly improved over the last time.
I mean, I would really hate to have to test it out again. It would be
Uh,
make me very sad if I was forced to go back to Le Cellier.
well, why don't we go ahead and let's make a schedule for our next trip so that we know when to fit in Le Cellier. That would be fun to try again.
Mhm.
And then Michaela says, our first visit, this was helpful. Chef Mickey's was on our list, and 220. I'll try and book the lounge instead.
Definitely try to go for the lounge instead. That way you are not, pigeonholed into only getting the very expensive fixed price meal, and you can pick exactly what you want.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trend.
Uh-huh.
Like Disney said, okay, let's make this one fixed price. Let's make California Grill fixed price.
Yes.
Let's make Be Our Guest fixed price. And it's rude.
I hate it, and I hate it.
Let us come more often because we can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, or it yeah, it's too much. It's too expensive.
It is. Do not recommend spending that much money. I'm very, very upset at how expensive Disney World is.
Agreed. It's gotten very pricey, but I do appreciate the fact that when it comes to ways to shave off costs on your trip, food is one of the easiest ways that you can do that because you're never going to save a ton of money on your tickets. You can save some on your resort reservations depending on the time of year that you're traveling there. But one place where you can almost always cut a bunch of your expenses is with your food, whether that be um, eating some of your meals in your room, like your breakfast is a very easy way to save a bunch of money, or choosing to eat off property sometimes if you have a car. Like there are ways to save money on food, and that's kind of the last way that you can really save big.
We were just at Disneyland for a couple days last weekend, and
Mhm.
we didn't have any dining reservations. We
Mhm.
just did quick service, and we ate at our hotel, and we got food delivered by Uber Eats.
Yep.
Like we didn't do any sit down. So, not interested in paying those prices all the time.
Nope. And you know what? Our trip wasn't ruined because we didn't choose to eat every meal in a sit down restaurant at Disneyland.
Yes, exactly. It was fine. But Disneyland has pretty good quick service food, so that helps.
Truly.
So, all right. All right. That is going to be it for us today and this week because we're live Monday through Thursday and we spend Friday with patrons.
Hmm.
But we'll be back Monday to fill you in on any news that happens between now and then. We'll talk to you then.